Daily Broadside, day 604. I was just over at somebody's house, and I came out to my truck to get something, and I hear a Hispanic male a couple houses down in the middle of the street go, "Amigo!" I look over, I'm like, "How you doing?" And he's with a older black male with him, and they walk over, and we start talking, and I noticed that the black guy has got in the yard that he came from, there's like a Hyundai Elantra or something just sunk to the axles in the front yard, front wheel drive, just everything just sunk. And of course you can see the telltale muds everywhere where they've tried to drive it out, And he's like, "Do you know how to get that out?" I'm like, "I do." It's like, first of all, don't drive in wet front yards. That's the first thing. That's the first rule of having a front wheel drive car on a day like today. But secondly, I was like, I don't have a tow strap with me. I don't know if I had a tow strap with me or not. I usually do, but I didn't have time to be messing with this stuff. Plus, I had a big trailer hooked up. I wasn't going to do all that stuff. I was in the middle of something, right? They were, I just wasn't. I'll normally help somebody out, but I just wasn't in a place where I could really do that. And so the black guy says to me, he's like, "What do I need to get that out?" I said, "You need a tow strap." He's like, "A what?" I said, "A tow strap." I was like, 2 inches thick, yellow. It's got hooks on the end or loops. And you're not really going to have anything to hook it to on that car, so you got to be really careful. I said, you got to pull very slowly or you'll rip whatever you've attached that hook to up underneath that car just right off, And I said, you're probably going to need something with four-wheel drive or a little bit of heft to it to get it out. I said, but if you're careful, you could get it out with another car. But again, the problem is hooking it to the car. There's not really tow hooks or anything that are, whatever. He's looking at me like I got two heads. Like he didn't even understand what I'm saying. And he's like, "Now, what'd you call that thing?" I said, "A tow strap, T-O-W. And he's like, he pulls up his phone, he opens it up, and he verbally says into his phone, he's like, "What does a tow strap look like?" And now I'm just like, this is crazy. And then the Hispanic guy starts typing something in, and he translates and shows me, and it says, "Do you have a tow strap?" Now, I speak a little bit of Spanish, and I understood what he was saying as he was saying it into the phone. And I'm like, "I do, but not with me," and all this. And so I said, "Cheapest place." He's like, "Where do I get a tow strap?" I was like, "You can go to Harbor Freight." I said, "That'd be the cheapest place to get one." I said, "You don't need anything but like a 20-foot, 3,000-pound, whatever. They don't need a heavy-duty one." And he's again looking at me like I got two heads. And I'm like, I don't even know why I'm having this conversation, because he's like, "What's Harbor Freight?" And I'm like, "It's a store that sells cheap Chinese tools for the most part." I said, "It's like Lowe's or Home Depot, but different." And he's like, "Where's one around here?" I'm like, "I don't know," And so I'm like, "Gotta go, fellas," But I'm like, yeah, how do people survive with the things that they do to themselves? It's amazing that you can't problem solve your way out of this. It's mud. You've been around mud your entire life. It's pretty much a staple on this terrestrial planet. I mean, I'm sure you've stepped in it before and you knew how to get your foot out. It's the same thing. It's just heavier. It's a car, but, and then the Hispanic, before I left, he types in, "Do you have any rope?" Or he said, "We have some rope." I said, "I'm not pulling your car out with rope." I said, "It'll break, and if there's hooks on it, it'll come flying back at my car." I said, "We're not doing all that." So I left them, and finally somebody showed up in a Toyota pickup, and they somehow got it out. But it's just crazy to me that the problem solving in this country is just, it's phenomenal. Of course, that guy had like 3 teeth in his head, so he's not made the best decisions. I think people that have poor dental hygiene are not ever going to win Nobel Prizes. Maybe that's, blanketing America, a section of America with a wide brush, or painting them rather with a wide brush. But it's just like, I think that's a good window into the soul. You don't take care of your teeth, I don't think we're probably expecting much out of you in the mental gymnastic department. And I decided last night that there is a way that I can own an alligator. And you might be thinking to yourself, why would you want to own one of those? They're pretty cool, but the detraction there, the kind of the barrier to entry of owning such a crocodilian is the fact that they can kill you, or at least clamp onto you and you can't get them off, because the bite force is like second to like a great white shark or something. So even as small ones, that's going to really hurt. And so I was watching this gator place last night, and they take in gators that are injured. And one of them didn't have a top jaw, like the whole top jaw. You could just see its like pink tongue just laying there. The next one didn't have a bottom jaw, and then they had a blind one. And I'm like, maybe there is a way, And because, if you've got a gator, they were like, we have to feed these gators by shoving the food into their, I can't remember what organ they said, some kind of esophageal pocket, or I don't know what they were talking about. But anyway, they basically have to just shove the food down in them. Kind of like you have to force feed snakes when they don't want to eat. I find it odd that animals don't want to eat when they're hungry. But I thought, man, I could own, if I could find an outlet for buying a alligator that doesn't have a top jaw, there's no danger. I mean, he can't do anything to me, all he's going to do is just gum me, and that's really not going to hurt. So there's that. Now I watched a video last night of a guy, this white dude comes on his video and he says, message all you white people that keep fridges in your garages. And I'm like, you have my attention. And he starts talking about how dumb it is, and he doesn't understand why you keep a refrigerator in your shop or your garage and all. And it's like, to keep beer cold. I don't know what, and I don't know why this is addressed to white people. I'm sure there's tons of black people, Hispanics, Asians, Canadians. Everybody keeps, it's not limited to this race that, only white people keep beer in the fridge out in their garage. If I'm out working on something all dirty or whatever, I'm enjoying a beer with my buddies, because I got like comfy chairs out in my shop, but we sit around and drink beer and pontificate about the world and its problems and its inevitable solutions. And grabbing a beer that's 4 feet away is a lot easier than going all the way back into the house, because I don't wear shoes in my house. So then I got to disrobe. It's just a whole process. But I don't understand how we've allowed this dude to stay in America, because that's just not a cool thing. Mocking people that drink beer in their shop or their garage. That's part of being an American, And if you don't understand that, I don't understand you. You want to ask what the one thing I like about Joe Biden is? I'll tell you. The fact that he's got a 67 4-speed Corvette. Although I think I would have gone with a 63 split window, but, I guess his dad bought it for him and they weren't being choosy. But, and I wouldn't have gotten a convertible. Hardtops look so much better with C2s. But I like that. I like the fact that he went with that. But everything else, I really have no use for him. He just doesn't, he doesn't do anything for me. And that doesn't mean I'm a Trump guy. Don't get me wrong. I'm not. That's not my bag. I'm, that's not how I roll. But all politicians are kind of shady in a lot of ways. But I just ain't got no use for that dude, other than the fact he's got a cool car, And let's stop and normalize cutting underneath the door jamb. Okay, when you're doing flooring, you don't just butt it up to the trim and then cut around it and then fill it with wood putty. That looks like a bag of assholes. Okay, that looks like such subpar craftsmanship. Take the piece of flooring you got, lay it next to the jamb, get you a multi-tool and saw into the jamb, and then drive that plank up underneath that jamb. It looks so much better. So much better, and people will not curse the day that they come in to repair your shoddy craftsmanship.